What's up? Welcome back into another video here on the FanTC YouTube page. We are on day 11 of our 45 days of mock drafts. We're going to switch it up just a little bit for this one. We're going to go a little bit deeper than we've been going in the first 10 days. We're going to switch it up to a 14-team draft this time around, and we are going to be drafting from the five spot. If you've watched any of the videos, you know I like being in the front seven. I feel like I get an elite difference maker there. So we will see who falls to us. Let's get into it. It's going to be half point PPR, 14 teams in the league, one quarterback, two running back, two receiver, one tight end, two flex, five bench spots. So pretty standard on the roster. Let's jump on into it. Jefferson, Chase, McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Okay, so we get our choice of Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Travis Kelsey. We are going to ride with Cooper Kupp again. He has been my guy. I think he's my wide receiver 3. Tyreek Hill is right after him in my wide receiver 4. I do not hate him. I want to see what I can do with Kupp. Want to see how late I could get Stafford, see if he goes basically undrafted. So may go zero QB and then just draft Stafford at the end if he's available or towards the end. Okay, so we got an elite wide receiver. I also like being on this end of the draft because I like the running backs who fall in zero RB on this end a little bit more. When you get down here, you miss out on some guys. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go a different route. I've been doing a lot of T Higgins, but we're gonna go Chris Olave this time. I like Chris Olave quite a bit this year. Obviously, if you're any kind of a Saints truther, you got to think Derek Carr is going to make him a better wide receiver than the combination of Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston did last year. All right, still some decent players on the board, but we're going to stick to it. We're going to keep going with the zero RB. We're going to go ahead and take one of my favorite guys this year, Keenan Allen. Can people see you? Yes, they can. God damn it. Here you go. You want to make your video, parents? All right, let's see what happened in the draft. Metcalf, Ridley, Samuel. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Ooh, Miles Sanders going just before me. That kind of stinks. I would love to have snagged Miles Sanders here, but I'm going to be pretty happy with whatever two running backs I end up getting in this position. Top 4 tight ends off the board. Not really looking at Kyle Pitts quite yet. Damian Pierce is interesting. I have not drafted him in any of these mock drafts. I think his position's pretty secure there in Houston. Devin Singletary's there, but I don't know if Devin Singletary's really competing for like a full 50-50 timeshare. I think Damian Pierce is going to have a hold on it at least to start the season. Hopefully he can maintain that. He was a pretty good football player last year, so I'm pretty content with drafting him as my running back 1. Um, overall, if I was to go him and then go maybe like quarterback, like if I wanted to go Justin Herbert if he fell to me, I don't feel as good about it. But the fact I'm going to be able to take Damian Pierce and go ahead and pair him up with another guy who should get a lot of opportunity in Cam Akers this year, I'm pretty content with that. It's a young running back room. I'm pretty happy with that. Both of these guys, Cam Akers is coming off, I believe he's going to be on year 2 coming off of an injury. Ended last season on a tear. Damian Pierce actually got hurt at the end of last season, but was a pretty electric running back for the Texans last year. All right, let's see here. Quarterback, we're down to the Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson to a tier. Tight end, we're at the Evan Ingram tier, but I think I could almost wait till the 8th round for Evan Ingram. That's kind of risky, but after Waller, there's usually a pretty big hold on tight end. So I think while I have the chance, I should go ahead and stack up on some of these good young wide receivers. So I got Kupp and Keenan Allen, potentially injured older guys. I like Deontay Johnson. He does have high end wide receiver 2 upside in my opinion. I don't know if I see that out of JSN rookie year. I understand people liking Jordan Addison. I just think that he may need a little bit more time to work into the offense than people are giving him time to do. Because the thing with Olave last year, I know a lot of people always that's been a lot of people's comp is let's immediately go back to Olave and see that he made an impact right away. And I know Michael Thomas was there, but an old Michael Thomas is nothing close to T.J. Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson. So I just think that there's a good opportunity that Jordan Addison just doesn't see the opportunity from week one that a lot of people are projecting. Dynasty, obviously, he's probably a pretty good pickup, and then in any kind of long term fantasy, he's probably got a good amount of value right now. But in redraft, I just think he's a guy who you can see hit the waiver wire, especially if he has a few just pretty big letdown weeks. All right, so we got four wide receivers. I totally forgot this was a 14-team league. Makes sense why guys like Miles Sanders didn't quite make it all the way back around to me at my normal turn. So makes a little bit more sense that way. But I'm still content with these guys that I'm drafting here. I mean, we're into the seventh. At this point, we're drafting bench guys or potential flex options. And I love Kadarius Toney and his potential in the Chiefs' offense. Obviously, he has to stay healthy, and there's a lot of wide receivers there. But I like taking my shot on him in drafts. All right, holding out for Evan Ingram did not work out for me, and I didn't even get this next secondary group of guys in Dalton Schultz or David Njoku, so that's a pretty rough turnaround for me there. But I can confidently say I'm pretty content with my wide receiving core. If I see some value there here, maybe on my next pick or the pick after, I may consider just picking up one more guy. Quarterback, at this point, we're looking at Russell Wilson and probably a Matthew Stafford late draft combo and just roll with it. I'm actually this is a pretty easy pick for me because he has become the guy that I am looking for in late rounds. It's just Khalil Herbert just adds more depth to a running back room. I mean, he's going to be the starter week one unless Chicago just has completely different plans. But and I get that they obviously drafted a guy relatively early. They brought in Deontay Foreman, so a lot of people are going to say maybe they don't have the most hope for him. But I just imagine that he's going to be pretty solid. So let's go back around. Elijah Moore was the guy that I was kind of hoping for, if I'm being completely honest. He would have been the guy I probably took a shot on. This tier of wide receiver, don't even want him. I mean, Sky Moore is really the next guy I'd want. Romeo Dobbs, like people that actually have a chance to do something other than just be average. Chig, I'm not as excited for. I mean, still tight end, but do I really want the potential third option on that offense? Ryan Tannehill's offense? No, I don't. Where are we at with quarterback? Almost everyone has taken a quarterback besides me, but I'm going to give it one more round. I'm going to go ahead and add Devon A-Chain. Add a little bit more running back depth. I like Devon A-Chain. Obviously, it all is going to come down to what he does or how much he gets on the field for Miami, but I think there's a good chance he's the guy that, he could take a screen from the 20-yard line all the way to the house. So I think he has some pretty good value. And we're going to get lucky. We are. Let's go. We got our guy all the way back around to us. We'll go ahead and take Russell here. Say what you want about him being washed. I don't think Nathaniel Hackett's an elite tier head coach, and we've seen what happens when quarterbacks don't have elite coaches. And even though I think Russell Wilson thought he was in that Tom Brady tier, he's clearly not. I mean, even Matthew Stafford, we saw he got a pretty big upgrade when he went to an elite head coach in Sean McVay. So I think that there's a good chance that there's a turnaround in Denver. Not maybe not a big turnaround. I don't think that he's going to be like quarterback top 5 or anything, but I think he can finish as a QB1 this season. And in the 10th round, I don't mind picking him up there. We still need a tight end. Yeah, we do. Gosh, I hate drafting tight ends. Just because I've seen this guy get memed about drafting him for the 5th straight year, we're just going to take Irv Smith just for the jokes. probably would just end up having to figure something else out. Okay, so here's a little bit of a sneaky one because their offense isn't going to be that great, but you'd imagine one of these two guys, depending on who's, if Zach Ertz is healthy, Zach Ertz or Trey McBride, one of those two guys should have some fantasy value at some point this year. So they're definitely some late round options for you if you really just want to take a complete shot in the dark at tight end. Okay, remember, it's a 14-team league, so there's not going to be as much on waivers. Who do I think could potentially get some play? I didn't draft any other one, did I? No. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna just because it's a 14-team league. There's just not going to be as many options out there on the waivers. Let's just go ahead and snag up Trey McBride. If he shows us anything in the first couple of weeks, he can end up being our tight end because we're not going to be very happy just keeping Irv Smith as our tight end. But there's our team, 14-team league. I think this draft went incredibly well for a 14-team league. Quarterback's obviously going to be our weakest point. Well, tied with tight end, but quarterback and tight end, you can always kind of play around with. You never know who's going to have great seasons at those positions. Well, not tight end, but quarterback. The running back room, Damian Pierce, Cam Akers, Khalil Herbert, Devon Achane on a somewhat zero RB strategy. Don't hate it. Pretty content with that. Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, Cooper, Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Kadarius Toney, Romeo Dobbs. Probably one of the best wide receiving cores I've drafted so far. I mean, you're looking at three guys who could be wide receiver ones, two guys that could be high end wide receiver twos, and you never know with Romeo Dobbs. He's getting some hype right now. Don't know if it's completely warranted hype, but definitely could be. And then again, Trey McBride, Irv Smith. It's a 14-team league. Tight ends are going to be thin on the waiver. So let's go ahead and snag up McBride at the end, see if maybe he can do something for us. Honestly, if I could go back to it, I don't know why I didn't see this. I'd probably go Taysom Hill, Trey McBride, and just go with Taysom Hill week one. You never know what the Saints offense could be doing to start a new season. But that's going to wrap it up. Day 11. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. We'll be back.